All right, here he is.
I think I'm an incredible surfer. You know, I've always said that, you know, if I wasn't a DJ in my other life, if my white side would have took hold of me, I would have been a surfer. And I think that I navigate waves incredibly well, you know, and when I say waves, I mean through the culture, you know, through the generations, you know.
Let me ask you something that just occurred to me. Let me keep it real with you, because you've been on the other side of the table as an artist, right? Going to the label, being like, yo, let's make a record, and you get whatever deal you get. Now you're on the buyer side of the table. Are you giving them a better deal than what you and other artists were getting when you guys were the artists? You know what I'm saying?
You mean business-wise?
Yeah.
We do. I definitely do good and fair deals. That's for sure. So, I would think so. Compared to what record deals were like 20 or plus years ago, I think they've all gotten better over time. I mean, it's only the, you know, the responsible thing and the, you know, yeah, coming from an artist, I definitely want to do fair deals with artists per se, and I understand, you know, how it works in a way. And that was one thing I was gonna bring up with Jack. I was gonna mention to you earlier. I think one of the things that, you know, because of him being white or being looked at in a certain way, the fact that he was standing alongside DJ Drama, who comes from this lineage of Gangster Grillz and, you know, Young Jeezy and Lil Wayne and what have you, made people say, oh, let me check it out. And, you know, gives him, you know, a leg to stand on per se in a lot of senses. Sure. And then, you know, in the world, and then, you know, things change and he's a fucking superstar and people are, you know, coming in the door with him per se. So, you know, we let that work organically. But when it comes to like record deals, yeah, we've taken pride in always doing fair and good business deals, which was a little hard when we were going through a little public thing with Uzi. And, you know, there was kind of this like perception as if we, you know, were not doing right by him or, you know, being unfair in his record deal, which was not really the case.
When you talk about Lil Wayne, what you guys did with those dedication albums was incredible. And like that period of his career was surreal. It was like every time he opened his mouth, it was something incredible, right? I mean, like before he went to jail, every freaking thing he did was amazing.
Still is, by the way.
He still is, but he's not that. He'll blow my mind, but like it was like a 3-4 year period where like everything he said, I was like, yo, that was incredible.
Out of here.
Just talk about rocking with him in that period when like just everything was fire.
I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but how you phrased it. Like when interestingly enough, like when I first, you know, I came along or we started doing mixtapes, he was in a transitional period between he was doing his Squad Up mixtapes right before we started doing dedication. And, you know, it was when he first did the first Carter album and what have you. So, you know, I was, you know, my knowledge of Wayne was not the most lyrical artist, you know, when we first started to work together. And, you know, when he first sent me the music for the first dedication and I really put my ear to it and just like heard where he was going, it was, you know, I remember thinking like, yo, this is special. Like, this is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not the same wobbly drop it like it's hot kid. You know what I mean? Like, he's putting a lot of effort into these bars. And I was already hearing it somewhat from what he had already been doing from the Squad Up mixtapes. So, you know, when I think about Dedication during that period, the Carter albums, by the time we got to like Dedication 2, like where Wayne was lyrically, you know, where I was with my brand and how, you know, I was putting the tapes together. It was like a masterpiece. Like it was one of the best albums of the year, and it was a fucking mixtape, you know, and he was just, the way he was demolishing other people's beats, like it made people fearful. Like it was like a gift and a curse for Wayne to get on your record, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, like, you know, to this day, I you know, the Cannon remix with him, and you know, like watching him work is just something. It's something special in its own, because I mean, he's a studio rat. You know, he'll record the most impeccable bars, and you know, in an hour's time. You know what I'm saying, and then go on right to another record. So
does he write?
Yeah. No, he doesn't write. No, all that's, you know.
There's no pen.
There's no pen.
So you make a beat and he goes in, he mumbles, and then he gets to like some hot shit.
And you're just sitting there like, yo, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. So yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's a, for me,
and he's a couple of takes. You know, right? It's quick.
Yeah, like, you know, he'll go in and do like 4 bars, and then, you know, think mumble some more shit, and then do another 4 bars, and then put it together in that sense. Or he'll spit. I think he might have, when he did the Cannon verse, go, you know, because we cut that verse, actually it was longer than what's actually out there, and like, you know, those were all straight bars, like nonstop. Like,
that's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, he's one of a kind. He's in a league of his own.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I think about him as one of the top 5-6 MCs of all time, and I know that's an argument that people will be like, oh, I don't know, but like, you know, when you say Jay, Nas, Big, Kendrick, nobody's gonna argue that. But you want to put up Wayne in that top 5, 6, 7 group, people be like, I don't know about Wayne. Like, yo, who's got more hot shit? Like, I mean, like if you put the amount of hot shit and metaphors and lyrics and like incredible, like flows, that guy.
Respectfully, you know, when Hove did his interview with Alicia Keys a couple weeks ago, and the verses came up, and you know, he said nobody's touching them. Like, you know, I think it's fair to say that, you know, when it comes to a verses, like Wayne could give Hove a run for his money. Like when it really comes down to it, you know, he's one of those guys. He's a go, and the way, you know, and even with your argument to add to that is, you got to think of the generation that he's inspired, you know. I mean, you know, like the way that Jay, Nas, and Big are to a lot of us of a certain age, like Wayne is that to a whole age group. Like he's the one, you know what I'm saying? And like, you have to put in the fact that he gave us Nicki Minaj and Drake, who are 2 goats of their own, you know. So yeah.
You know, I find your career really interesting because you are able to rock with pretty much any kind of sound you want. You become known with the Gangster Grillz, which is T.I., you know, which is Wayne, which is hard shit. But then when you want to go do with Pharrell, which is a completely different vibe, bam, we do that. Wouldn't expect you on a Tyler, the Creator album, but bam, you're there, and that fits. How are you able to like have it so broad in terms of what you do?
Thank you. And that's one of the ultimate compliments for me. I think like it's been a blessing, because I mean, you know, I'm a student of the game. You know, I come from, you know, the first group I ever saw in front of me, like actually get on and get a record deal, was the Roots, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, my next door neighbor was Bahamadia, or I came up listening to A Tribe Called Quest and Smith and Wesson, and then I moved to Atlanta, and you know, I went to Clark Atlanta, where you know we had people from all over the country that wanted to hear their favorite shit at the party. So you know, it's because of these. I guess being a DJ and coming from, you know, coming from the era that I come from, and being able to navigate like and being such a just a have such a love and a passion for the culture and for every aspect of it, you know, has enabled me to go in so many different directions and to appreciate it in a lot of ways, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, even with Gangster Grillz, like when it was known for a certain type of rap, you know, when the opportunity to go off and do and rock with Pharrell came, like that was so big for me because, you know, I was able to transition and like, you know, show some of my backpacker roots. Like, you know, I came up in Atlanta DJing lyricist lounges and, you know, like fucking shows for Black Star, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, coming up with Tip and Jeezy and things of that nature. So to come around even in a full circle moment to, you know, to be part of Tyler's album, you know, it's an ode to that history, and for, you know, for Tyler to, you know, he's always told me how big Gangster Grillz was for him, or, you know what I'm saying, even the Pharrell tape and how inspiring that was. And, you know, for me to be able to just navigate, it's just, I don't know, it's just, you know, it's something that I've had a lot of fun doing in a lot of ways. And, you know, even through the mixtapes, like various artists being able to like take my persona of someone who's so loud and boisterous in a sense, but, you know, be able to flip it and, you know, make it work with currency where I'm not yelling and screaming the same as I might on a Gucci tape or, you know, this project or what have you. So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that for me is just to be able, you know, again, it's just a love and a passion and to be such a student in the game. And, you know, it's been a wild ride. Somebody tweeted out last year, like, yo, DJ Drama literally really went from T.I. to Jeezy to Little Uzi to Jack Harlow. Like, you know, salute to that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's dope to me. And it's all hip hop. Like we're all lovers of the culture.